Sometimes, I feel like we live in a world where the most valuable things become invisible. Every day we're running somewhere, grabbing onto a dozen different tasks, planning, scheduling our days, and somehow still manage to spend hours just scrolling on our phones. It's like time doesn't tick anymore. It just flows through us like water through our fingers. For so long, I couldn't figure out where all my energy was going. Why I kept carrying around this heavy feeling inside, like I never get anything done, like I'm not moving forward, like I'm constantly falling behind on something important inside me. This isn't about weakness. It's not about being lazy or disorganized. It's something else, something more subtle. It feels a bit like an addiction, but not the kind people talk about with alcohol or cigarettes or sugar. It's more like my phone became a part of my hand, so familiar, I stopped noticing it. I'd open it, check the news, chat with a friend, scroll through a bunch of pointless videos, and it's not like something terrible happened, but honestly, it felt like I disappeared from my own life. Tell me in the comments, have you ever felt that way? And then one day, I randomly checked my screen time report, and I felt sick. I just did the math. How many hours a day were disappearing into nothing? Multiplied it by a month, by a year, and then I understood why I kept feeling like life was passing me by. It was like I was sitting in a subway car, staring out the window, and watching days, weeks, plans, dreams rush by. All the things I once wanted to do, and I wasn't even getting up from my seat. I'm not saying all this to shame myself or anyone else. I'm just tired of that inner voice that keeps whispering, "You lost another day of your life. You didn't do anything again. You failed again." You know what else I'm tired of? Looking at all the goal lists I wrote right after New Year's that are still just scribbles on paper. Not because those things don't matter to me, but because I feel like I don't even have access to my own strength to actually make them real. That's what I decided to deal with. Not the phone. It's just a tool. But this feeling that I'm holding myself back, that deep down somewhere inside me, there's energy, there's potential, there's drive. But it feels like they're locked in a dusty cage shoved into the far corner of the basement. You've probably felt it too. That feeling when you wake up and you do have energy and motivation. Some kind of inner readiness to act, to direct yourself and your focus somewhere. It's like being a vessel filled to the brim. Nature made us that way. We're given energy for a reason. It's meant to be used for something real, for something that truly matters. Not just for checking boxes in a planner, but for meaning, for being in touch with ourselves. But instead of living the new day from that place, we waste our power on imitation, on flickers of activity that feel good for a moment. Little dopamine sparks. Social media, reels, news feeds. All of it feels like fast food. Tastes great in the moment, but an hour later, you're hungry again. Or worse, that ache inside starts to grow stronger. I'm not doing something real. And the longer we stay in that place, the more anxiety we feel. And that anxiety, it doesn't come from nowhere. It is that same energy, the energy we didn't live out, didn't express, didn't send where it wanted to go. And now, it's trying to get out. It pushes from the inside, and you're confused. Because the stronger the anxiety, the harder it is to move. So you go in circles, and again, you're stuck in your phone, and there it is, that strange feeling, like you know you're capable of more, that there's a life inside you trying to come out, but you shut it down, you stop yourself, because you're scared, or because it feels like you don't have the strength, or because you think it's too late, or that it won't turn out right. I realized this wasn't about laziness, and it definitely wasn't about weakness. It's just a mechanism, a survival mechanism that kicks in when you don't know how to handle your own inner power, when you're scared to waste it, or use it in the wrong place, or put it out there and not get the result you hoped for, and that would hurt. And that is the key. Because if we stop beating ourselves up for checking out, and instead start listening to why we needed it, we finally start getting closer to the root of the problem. Not the effect, but the actual cause. Procrastination isn't stupidity or lack of willpower. It's a signal, a really personal, really subtle one. And when I understood that, something inside me clicked. And the most interesting part starts when you honestly admit to yourself, yeah, there are things I really want to do, but for some reason, I keep putting them off. Not because they don't matter to me, but because they matter too much. And that's scary. Sometimes I tell myself, I'm just being lazy. But behind that sentence, there's a whole universe of fear. Fear that it won't work out, that it won't go the way I pictured it. Fear that people will judge me, won't understand, or will misunderstand, or won't even notice. Or even worse, that they will notice, but I won't like the way I see myself through their eyes. And there you are, sitting, kind of ready, but doing nothing. Because somewhere deep down, there's this childlike fear. What if it hurts again? What if I give it everything I've got, and nothing comes back? What if I start, but I can't finish? Or what if it just feels wrong? If you've ever felt anything like that, hit like on the video, just to let me know I'm not alone. And this is where you have to pause. Just breathe, sit down, and tell yourself, I'm a regular person, a real one, with my strengths and flaws, with the right to make mistakes, the right to do things imperfectly, to have a first try that totally flops. If you've been dreaming for a long time to do something, make a video, write a post, start a blog, build something of your own, but you keep putting it off because you think, what if it looks ridiculous? Well, yeah, it probably will. Almost for sure. Because anything we do for the first time always looks weird. But without that first step, nothing else can happen at all. Sometimes we expect the impossible from ourselves, that it'll be perfect from the very first try. But that's not how life works. No one starts something new as a master. Everyone starts as just themselves, however they can. What matters is starting, and from there won't be magic. No. What happens next is a long process of becoming, filled with mistakes and challenges, because you're not some kind of product. You're not a project. You're a human being. And you have the right to show up in this world the way you know how, the way that feels right to you. And even if you do it badly, that's okay too. It doesn't make your path less meaningful. It actually makes it more real, more complete. One day, I tried a completely different strategy. Not pulling myself up, not trying to motivate myself, not promising a million rewards for effort, but the opposite. I gave myself permission to do it, badly. Literally told myself, I'm going to half-ass this, not because I don't respect myself, but because that's my way of getting out of the swamp of inaction. When you don't have the strength for perfection, perfection becomes a prison. It crushes you. It paralyzes you. It turns even the simplest thing into a test you have to ace, or else, and then you end up doing nothing at all. And then you sit with guilt. But what if you just let yourself do it imperfectly? Just to start, just to get the momentum going, just to show yourself that you can. And even if it's not perfect, it's still better than doing nothing at all. There's a kind of softness in this approach. You're not putting pressure on yourself. You're not pretending to be some superhuman. You're doing the opposite, letting yourself be alive and imperfect, just the way you are. And if you try this a few times, something shifts. You're no longer scared to start, because now you know you don't have to be a superhero. You don't have to give 100%. You just do what you can, however it turns out. Sometimes it doesn't even matter how. You just do it, and it starts working. Breathing gets easier, because you're no longer this harsh guard over yourself. Not a controller. More like a kind friend who knows how hard things can be, and simply lets you walk your own path. There's another subtle thing I noticed, like a pebble in your shoe. Tiny, but it makes walking harder. It's the way we block ourselves from doing what we actually want to do. Not someone else's rules, not outside circumstances, our own inner censor. It's quiet, sneaky, and very logical. It says, sure, you want to, but let's do the stuff that really needs to be done first. And just like that, your growth hits pause. You wanted to film a video, but suddenly remember the dishes in the sink, or your inbox is still a mess, or that you haven't gone to the gym today, or cooked dinner, or replied to Masha's message. So the video gets pushed aside, because should suddenly feels more important than want, and in the end, neither gets done. And inside, that familiar taste returns, like you betrayed yourself. You wanted to, but didn't allow it. Didn't let yourself follow the impulse. Picked up your phone again and fell into the never-ending void of cheap dopamine. I started learning to ask myself in the morning, what do I really want right now? Not what I should do, not what's on the list, but what I truly, honestly want. Sometimes it's something really simple, like buying myself a new mug, or going out to get flowers, or just lying down and listening to music. And sometimes it's recording a YouTube video, starting a mini project I've been carrying in my heart for a while, but kept putting off. And on the days when I let myself go where the desire is pulling me, I notice everything else still gets done. The world doesn't fall apart. Nobody shows up yelling at me. Everything can be done later, or maybe not at all. The main thing is not betraying myself, not choking the part of me that's still alive. And you start to see how that inner conflict works between should and want, and how often we choose should out of fear someone will judge us, or out of a need to be good, or just out of habit. But real life, vibrant and full, it starts with want, with that quiet inner calling. And if you shut it down, you lose the connection to yourself, to the world, to the people close to you, to what makes life even worth living. At first, it's hard to notice, because it feels like you're doing everything right. Sure, you'd love to go get some new flower pots, or clean out that shelf, or just sit in silence, but then you yank yourself back. That's not important. That can wait. Right now, I've got things to do, and just like that, you pass yourself by again. It's a really subtle moment, because you don't even realize you're shutting down your own impulse, like taking a warm hand and saying, not now. And then later, you wonder why you're procrastinating again, why you can't make yourself start, why you're glued to your phone again. The truth is, it's simple. You haven't let yourself want anything in a long time. You've trained yourself to live from should, and nothing alive comes from should. There's no inspiration there, no energy, just a plan. Step 1, step 2, a clean checklist. But to do something real, you need a spark. You need desire. So I started doing small experiments. When I feel that little tug, the desire to do something, even if it seems unnecessary, I don't wait. I just get up and do it. Right then, no overthinking, no judging, no board meetings with myself beforehand. It could be anything. Recording a voice memo, writing down a thought, driving across town just because I feel like it. And every time, I feel like something is thawing inside, like I'm saying to myself, I hear you, and I trust you. And here's the paradox. That's when the procrastination starts to fade, because you're not using up energy fighting yourself. You're not suppressing anything. You're using it, directing it, living in alignment with it. And then everything starts to get easier, like the snow inside you is melting, and little flowers start to push through. You stop living by the list and start living by yourself. And then I realized something really simple. We don't need a perfect day. We don't need to cram dozens of tasks into 24 hours to feel alive. Sometimes, one is enough. One action, one real meaningful thing, something you believe matters. Not because someone told you, but because deep inside, you know, this matters. And it matters today. When you do just one thing a day, but it's something that actually means something. A quiet settles in your chest, not emptiness, but clarity. Like everything finally lines up. You're no longer dragging the weight of expectations. You're just living, and that's enough. Yeah, it feels weird at first, because your head is full of the usual noise. You need to be productive, do more. You're falling behind again. But if you stop and ask yourself honestly, why am I doing all this? Who am I trying to catch up with? And then another thought shows up. I'm not here to check boxes. I'm not here to meet anyone's expectations. I'm here to be, to feel, to create something, to live in this moment, not in some endless should. That's when I started making deals with myself. One thing a day. No lists, no race, no pressure to do it all. Just listening to myself in the morning and asking, what matters most to me today? And if it's doing laundry, great. If it's calling my mom, perfect. If it's writing 3 lines that have been living in my chest, then that's my thing. And everything else, it can wait. That's not laziness. That's care. That's respect for your own rhythm. That's choosing your mental and emotional well-being over chasing outside perfection. And you know what? Turns out that after a year of days like that, you've got 365 real actions. And they're not just tasks. They're steps toward yourself, without burnout, without fear, just one day at a time. But still, there are moments when even one task feels impossible. You know those days, when mentally you've already agreed, you're already willing, but your body feels like it's melted into the couch. Your thoughts are all over the place. Your breathing freezes up or drops into your belly, and you feel stuck between, I want to start, and I just can't. That's when I came up with a little trick. So simple, it's almost silly. I call it starting on the 3rd try. Don't jump in right away. Just approach what you want to do like you're scouting the area. 1 attempt, then pause. 2nd attempt, still nothing terrible. 3rd attempt, and suddenly you're in. Like, if I want to bake a pie, but even thinking about the kitchen feels scary, I just get up and put on an apron. That's it, nothing else. Then I pull out the ingredients, but I don't cook yet. I just lay them out. Then the dishes. And once I'm standing there, already in the apron, with everything laid out, something clicks inside. Well, since I'm already here, maybe I'll just start. That moment. It's quiet, but it's everything. It's like you're outsmarting your own anxiety, not attacking it, not bulldozing through. You come in gently from the side. You give yourself space to breathe before beginning. And it works. Same thing with going to the gym, or writing, or filming a video. You just put on the clothes, just open the laptop, just sit in front of the camera, and you don't demand anything from yourself. Not results, not inspiration, not heroics. Just Be near the thing you want to do. Get used to it. Feel that it's not as scary as it looked from a distance. And then, on that third try, you begin. And the most surprising thing, you don't feel drained after, because you didn't force the effort out of yourself. You actually supported yourself. And that gives you fuel for the next step. And once you let yourself walk that path a few times, little by little, for real, without pressure, you start to notice something amazing. Life actually feels lighter. You stop reaching for your phone all the time. Not because you banned it, but because you're no longer running from yourself. There's no inner emptiness you need to stuff with something. Inside, things get quieter, softer, freer, and this rare feeling shows up, one that's hard to describe, but you recognize it the moment it appears. The feeling of, I'm right where I'm meant to be. Even if that place is just you, in your kitchen, in pajamas, holding a cup of tea, with a to-do list that only has one thing on it, and then that awful, I didn't do anything again, feeling disappears. Because you did do something, not because you had to, but because you wanted to. Because something inside you answered the call, and when you choose yourself again and again, this strange, quiet confidence starts to form. Not the kind that needs applause or likes or validation, just the kind that is, like a backbone, like your inner anchor, and then it doesn't matter if the cleaning wasn't perfect, or the pie didn't turn out on the first try, or if your video didn't hit 1 million views. You lived that day, and you were honest with yourself in it, and that's what really matters, because we didn't come into this world to do everything, or to impress people, or to live up to other people's expectations. We came here to live, to feel, to come back to ourselves, sometimes slowly, sometimes on the third try, sometimes through anxiety and resistance, but always back to ourselves. And if one day you still feel like just lying down, staring at the ceiling, and opening TikTok, that's okay too. You're not a robot. The only thing that matters is that it's your choice, not the only way you can survive the day. That's it, really. You can just sit with that thought now and let it go. Or you can go do that one small thing you've been drawn to for so long. Not perfectly, not for show, but for real. Because you're allowed to. You're alive, and that's already enough. Thank you for staying with me, for listening to all my thoughts to the very end. Please leave a comment and tell me what you think. I'd really love to read it. And of course, subscribe